Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with a new report. Actually, family, this is an updated report. Just came out. It's kind of somewhat of a breaking news report. We are going to quickly and briefly cover this issue once again. It's a little bit of a good news, or if you say, temporarily good news. We didn't expect this. We knew it could happen, but yeah. Okay. Basically, what happened, family, is the IRS announced that they were going to delay the $600 cash card tax rule that they had put in place. So we're going to go over that here briefly, family. But before we get started, if you appreciate our content here in One Brothas Mind, hit the like button and definitely share this report on all your social media with all your peoples. And be sure to be subscribed so you can get our updates and notices when we go live. Okay, family, let's dig into this because I don't want to hold you long on this video, but definitely want to give you this temporary good news. Again, the IRS just announced that they are delaying the $600 IRS tax rule. And that was the rule where if you're using a lot of these cash app or cash card systems, if you had transactions on them that amounted to $600 or more, those cash app and cash cards, cash account systems were going to be required to notify the IRS of your transaction amounts. And the IRS was going to then notify you of how much taxes you owed on your amount that was reported. Okay? So basically it was a new tax. Previously, the threshold for this type of tax was $20,000. So then on January 1st, 2022, they changed it to $600. Yeah. So it was about to, or it's going to catch a whole lot of new people as far as owing taxes. Which is why, as you see on your screen, in my very first report on this, you can go to One Brothas Mind, go in the video playlist, and you can find the very first report where I reported that, family, you need to stop using these cards and apps now. That was the title for the very first report, and this was why. The $600 tax rule. You're going to get a tax bill eventually. Now it's been delayed, but you're still going to get one eventually that you're not expecting. And that's the whole point. And that's one of the reasons why they decided to delay this because it was about to be a real big problem, but it's not gone forever. Okay, so I want to share with you, family, some highlights from this report briefly. This is the report. You can find it on the IRS website, irs.gov. IRS announces delay for implementation of the $600 reporting threshold for third-party payment platforms, the 1099K form. Okay, so we're going to go through this briefly, family. Real quick, just some of the highlights, and that's the article that I'm reading from that I just showed you from the IRS. All right. As you see, it came out they just announced this on December 23rd. And again, in my previous report, I was basically giving everybody an update saying, hey, before this report, I was like, hey, you may get a 1099K form. If you do not throw it away. You have to respond because this is literal new taxes that you owe. Don't throw it away. You're going to cause yourself a whole lot more problems. But in that same report, there were rumors that the so-called politicians was working on trying to update it, change the amount from $6 to from $600 to a different amount. They were trying to do some stuff because it was about to cause a whole lot of problems for a lot of people. And so ultimately in today's report, and what I'm sharing with you is they came up with this delay solution. Okay? Doesn't mean it's gone. Doesn't mean it's canceled. They're just delaying it. So again, they put this report out about this delay on December 23rd. Okay? So real quick, it reads, the Internal Revenue Service today announced a delay in reporting thresholds for third-party settlement organizations. Let's pause right there. A quick side note. I've been telling y'all and telling people that those Cash App and Cash Account online things, they are not banks. And I've been warning people, you really want to try to get away from using those or stop using those. They are not banks. And my point about them not being banks is they are not required to follow the exact same rules of banks. And there are a lot of people that are getting their money literally stolen by these third-party settlement organizations. They are not banks. Banks are required to follow certain laws. These Cash App and Cash Card places are not, because they are not legally registered as banks. Do your research. And full disclosure, Katie Smooth, literally had a bunch of racks stolen from me that I had to fight for. Okay? I had to fight for them to get my money back. It happened to Katie Smooth, yes. So I've been warning everybody, y'all, stop. If you're going to use these cash cards, use them, but keep very small amounts of money in them. Money that you're not worried about if something happens to it, basically. Okay? If you get a large amount, transfer it to your regular bank account, get it out. Man, I'm telling y'all, it literally happened to Katie Smooth. They just stole my money and I had to legally fight for it for months. I'm talking more than 6 months to get my money back. Okay? Just a side note. Okay. Again, the Internal Revenue Service today announced a delay in reporting thresholds for third-party settlement organizations set to take effect for the upcoming tax filing season. third-party settlement organizations will not, I repeat, will not be required to report tax year 2022 transactions on a Form 1099-K to the IRS or the payee for the lower $600 threshold amount enacted as part of the American Rescue Plan for 2021. Okay? Now, they got a bunch of hodgepodge in here, but let's go down to get to the more important information. Under the law, beginning in January 2023, the third-party settlement organizations are required to report third-party network transactions paid in 2022 with any participating payee that exceeded a minimum threshold of $600 in aggregate payments. So there was a big debate, if you will, of people trying to figure out, is it one transaction, or will they report just one transaction of $600, or is it a collective of your transactions throughout the year totaling $600? And here they confirm the threshold of $600 in aggregate payments. So that's over $600. You can have a whole bunch of $20 ones that add up to $600 or more, and you're going to get reported. Okay? So that now you see that from the IRS is clear. Okay? Regardless of the number of transactions. That's the point. Let me put that right in the middle of the screen. Let's see here. There you go. Regardless of the number of transactions, get this out of the way so y'all can see it. It's the top yellow paragraph there. Okay? That's what the law was. Okay? The transaction period described delays in this new notice, which you see the link to. That's where it says, got the little PDF box, or it's now the top yellow note on your screen. The new notice delays the reporting of these transactions in excess of $600 to the IRS that occur after year 2022. Okay, they go on to say they're doing this to help make when they cancel the delay, or when they start it back again, there's more understanding, more people have been notified correctly, etc., etc. So there's not going to be as big a problem that people are having with this situation. That's what they're saying they delayed this for. They want to delay it to provide more clarity for people. And the reality is, if you have an account with a Cash App or one of these cash account parties, settlement parties, third parties, they should be notifying all of their users saying, okay, as of this date, here's what the law requires. But most of them haven't. You didn't get a notice, did you? They didn't notify you, most likely. Okay? They should be notifying you, telling you, as of this date, all your transactions over $600 will be reported. But most of y'all didn't get that notice. So, again, they're saying they're delaying it because there's still too much confusion out there about it, this and that, whatever. There's other reasons why they're delaying it. One, because they knew it was going to be a big problem. One, because there was a lot of confusion, correctly so, that people had. People didn't fully understand this. Okay? But it was because of that, if they left it in place and let it, start in January of this 2023, and everybody started getting their notices, basically it was going to make everybody hate the Democrats because this was a Democrat bill. Okay. And they don't really want to cause people more problems right now and have the Democrats be responsible for it. That's another reason why they came up with this delay. And again, it's only a delay. Okay. In addition, lastly, okay, we're talking about these final two notes here. For taxpayers who may have already received a 1099-K form as a result of the changes prior to this delay, the IRS is working rapidly to provide instructions and clarity so those taxpayers can understand what they need to do. Okay? And then the last sentence, the IRS also noted that the existing 1099-K reporting threshold of $20,000 in payments from over 200 transactions will remain in effect. Now, a couple of things with this last sentence. One, so for 2022, the threshold is basically going back to $20,000 instead of $600, at least at this point. Okay. And it's got the original law had a over 200 transactions clause in it as well. So that played a role in determining as well how many transactions you had, or at least 200, and whether you were going to have to pay taxes on in the previous $20,000 limit setup. Whereas now, if you notice, I showed you they changed it not only to $600, but then they didn't care how many transactions you had. Do you see the differences? So basically for now, for 2022 year, reporting in 2023, the IRS has delayed this law. Again, it's not canceled. They didn't eliminate it. They just delayed it. Because if y'all remember correctly, when they first brought it out, they said it was not only going to be the cash cards and little cash accounts, but it was also going to be all banks, all your banking accounts. Don't forget that, family. That's still coming back too. So originally, they took the banks out of it because of the banks people put up such a backlash. Because you're invading our private, what we're doing in our private accounts with our private money. So they took the banks out of it for now and just focused on these cash apps and cash card situations or companies. And now they're just pressing the pause button on those. It's going to be reenacted. That's my point, family. They have not announced when it's going to be reenacted, but it is. So don't think, oh, I'm cool, I can go on, keep doing what I've been doing, or go back to doing what I've been doing. Everything's cool with this. Woody, woody, woo. No, I ain't tripping. No. Basically, what I'm saying to you, family, is you basically got a little bit more time. They gave you a little bit more time to make some changes. Okay? To make these changes that's on your screen. And specifically, I'm talking to Pookie and Ray Ray. Because I know most of y'all family that are listening, y'all already know about these things. But Pookie and Ray Ray be hard-headed sometimes. You know, thinking they're going to just be able to do what they've been doing forever. Again, they just delayed this. They did not cancel this law. It's coming back. So with this additional little bit of time you got, Pookie, you need to work to change what you're doing to where you're now using these things that are on your screen only with whatever it is that you may have been doing. Pookie, are you listening? Go back to using cash only, or using cashier's checks or money orders on the top right. I know, especially with the cashier's checks and money orders, is very inconvenient. But Pookie, if you use these things on your screen, these things are not included as a part of the IRS $600 tax rule. Are you listening, Pookie? Okay. So if you're using these things, as far as the IRS 600 tax rule, you should be okay, Pookie. Okay. If you keep using these cash cards and cash apps, Pookie, the IRS is coming to holler at you here soon. They still gonna come holler at you with the handout for more tax money. That's basically my message here, family. Keep on using these. They're giving you a little bit more time. Stop using them and go to these types of things that's on your screen, Pookie. Okay? Because if you keep on, here real soon, they are going to make this rule, put it in place, and make it permanent, Pookie. And when you get that 1099K form, don't start hollering, Pookie, because you've had plenty of time, and now you're getting extra time to make the necessary adjustments that you need to make, Pookie and family. Okay? So there's also the IRS in my previous report on this. I'll try to link it at the end of this video. The IRS listed at least 2 other account types and names that were not going to be subject to the $600 tax rule. They were a Zelle account, and there was a special kind of Chase account that was not going to be subject to the rule. So definitely do your research on those, or go back to my previous report. You'll see those listed. Those are options, especially when the IRS literally says, okay, we're not going to bother these 2 types of accounts, but everything else, break us off our tax money. Okay. So just there you have it, family. I just wanted to do a quick update. This just came out. Share this report with all your people so they know what's going on. They're aware and they understand. They have a little bit more time to adjust whatever they're doing with these Cash App and Cash Card. There's Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all of them. Even whatever little new one you think you got that's new, and that means it ain't on the list. Now all of them are on this list, unless the IRS specifically said this one is not and this one is not, like they did with the Zelle, and I forget the specific special name of the Chase account, but there's a special Chase account the IRS has already listed, at least for now, that are not going to be affected. So you can switch, Pookie, to one of those accounts and use those accounts, at least for now. Or, like I said, make some adjustments that you see on your screen. Okay? So just wanted to provide this information, this update, family, for everybody, so y'all can know what was going on and know how to move out here in these streets of America. Okay. So once again, hit the like button if you appreciate our comment. Share this report with all your peoples. They need to know this, y'all. Because all y'all got these cash cards and cash apps. And plus, don't forget, I shared with you earlier, a lot of these third-party settlement, whatever the IRS is calling these things, let me get it together. These TPSOs, what do they call them? Third-party settlement organizations. They're not banks. Okay? So they are not subject to the laws that regular banks are. So they doing all kind of crazy stuff, not being banks. They're stealing people's money. So that's another thing. Do not, I repeat, do not keep large amounts of money in these accounts. You get a significant amount of money, transfer it to your regular bank account, and then, you can leave it there if you want, but don't leave your money with these fools in these accounts. Stop it. Okay, you're going to get hit just like Katie Smooth got hit and many others. Go on YouTube. Do a search for like banks stealing money, stealing a customer's money and stuff like that. And then use these other names of these cards and apps. Put them in. Do the same search. You're going to start finding a whole bunch of people that are reporting you. Same thing, Katie. I just told you. It happened to me. I fought for approximately a year to get my money back. Okay? So, there you have it, family. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think on this issue, this delay in the comments. Let's, how long y'all think the delay is going to be for? When do y'all think the law is actually going to be, enforced and put and activated again? And what if you have some other solutions, some other options, list them in the comments, man. Some other adjustments that people that are currently using these third-party settlement organization accounts, not banks, some other options that you may be able to use to do whatever you out here doing, and not get caught up with the IRS and a bunch of extra taxes, or have to here's the thing. In my opinion, family, what was going to happen and what ultimately is going to happen whenever they enforce this $600 rule, the IRS is going to send pretty much everybody those 1099-K forms and say, you owe us this much tax money on this money these transactions that you had. Okay? And they're going to force you to prove that the transactions that you have on one of these cards or accounts were not profit, or were not for items or products or services. They were not basically business transactions. The IRS is going to force you to prove that. And they're not going to make it easy. That's basically what's going to happen whenever this rule goes into effect. Okay? So especially if you can't prove, and most of y'all can't, that these are not business transactions for products or services rendered and what have you, the IRS is going to be like, break us off this extra amount of money in taxes. And the IRS is not going to go by what you think and believe is not business transactions. The IRS is going to define what is business transactions or not. Regardless of what you think or what you are, again, writing them letters about, they're going to be, they really ain't trying to hear y'all. That's my point. Okay? The IRS and the U.S. government trying to get a whole bunch of extra money. Okay? All right. There you have it. Let's chop it up in the comments, family. Let me know what y'all think. And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.